If you read in your textbooks, a lot of times they make it sound like there are so many, tricks and shortcuts and things like that that you can do. And when we're dividing, when our dividend, I should say, and when our divisor are both a some kind of a multiple of 10, if they have a zero at the end of them, they start talking to you about little tricks that you can do and ways to make it easier. I'm not a big fan of the little tricks and the little side notes because that's a lot more things for you to have to remember. It's a lot of things to start getting confused on when you start meshing all of your rules together in your brain. So I really think that it is actually much easier just to go ahead and do the division as you've been taught and as you've practiced. Especially when we're working with a number that ends in zero, it's very easy to multiply, and so I think that it would be better for you to practice on the rules. All right, so let's start in the same way we've done all long division. This says we have 130 as our divisor, so will that go into 1? No. Will it go into 13? No. Will it go into 131? Yes. It will go in one time. 1 times 130 is 130. And then when we subtract, we have 1 left. Now we can drop our next digit, which is a 0, and begin again. So how many times will 130 go into 10? Well, that would be 0 times. 0 times 130 is, 0. And then when we subtract, we get 10 left. Now we can drop our next digit, which would be a 4, and begin again. What times 130 would give us 104? Nothing. 104 is too small. So again, it would be another 0. We have to keep doing those 0 placeholders. So 0 times 130 is 0. And when we subtract, we get 104. Drop the next digit, which is a 0. Now, I don't know all the multiples of 130 off the top of my head, so we are going to have to do some, figuring here. Now, 130 into 1,040. Let's just try something, well, let's start off with our famous 5s and see what happens. So 0 times 5 would be 0. 5 times 3 would be 15. 5 times 1 would be 5, plus 1 is 6. Okay, that's not large enough. What if we did 7? So 130 times 7 would be 0. 3 times 7 would be 21. 7 times 1 would be 7, plus 2 is 9, so that's 910. Not quite large enough. Let's try something else. Let's try 130 times 8 and see what happens. So 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 would be 24. 8 times 1 would be 8. 9, 10 when we bring the remainder, or what we had to carry. So this is 1,040. Well, that's exactly what we needed. So 130 times 8 is 1,040. So when we subtract, we have no remainder here. So our answer is 1,008. Now, we could check that, and we could check that very quickly and easily by saying 1008 times 130. Now, if you have been practicing your multiplication and you're getting much better at it, you could use this shortcut here where we just scooted over one digit so that the 0 was trailing. And then we could multiply 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. And then multiplying the 1. So 1 times 8 is 8. Now we have to be very careful about where we line this up because we were multiplying by the 1, so that's in that column. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. And 1 times 1 is 1. Now when we add, we get 0, 4, 10, 1, 3, 1. 131,040, which is exactly what it should have been, so that checks.